Hi everyone, this video is all about brows, shaping and filling them in, especially if you're over 50. Now, the reason why I say that is because as we get older, we know that we lose the shape in our brows. They become sparser, they become finer, they become more wiry, all sorts of things, and for all sorts of reasons. Now, some of you may not have ever had very full brows. Some of you may have overplucked in the past. Some of you maybe have brows that are thinning because of an illness or medication that you're on. A friend of mine, she has alopecia, and her brows have completely gone. And she said to me that the one big bugbear that she has is, she can put on a great wig or a really great scarf on her head, but her brows, she really needs to fill those in. So that gives her face that definition, that focus. So that's what I want to share with you today. So I've just moved my fringe out of the way. Now you'll see a lot of gray coming through here, but that's for another video. Okay, so let's start with the brows. First of all, if you're going to do your brows, I would suggest, especially me, because I would wear glasses normally, to get either a magnified mirror, so that was a big one, wasn't it? Or one of these little magnified mirrors, which is even more scary because it's really intense and close up, but you can really see what you're doing, which is really important for this. And then you need to step back and take a look at it. So let's start off with shape. The way we shaped our brows when we were younger is not how we should be shaping our brows now that we are older. Now, the reason for that is that old adage, gravity. That old gravity has pulled bits of our face down, and as a result of that, our eyes have drooped a little bit as well. And for some of us, maybe they've drooped a little bit more than we would like. So you have to think about doing your brows a little bit differently. So this is what I would do if I was going to give you a makeup lesson, a one-to-one makeup lesson. So this is your one-to-one makeup lesson with me. First of all, what I do is I take a white pencil or some kind of a pencil. It doesn't have to be white, but white for me is an easiest one to get off the skin. And then I do this. I put it along the person's side of their nose to see where their eyebrow should start. So now, if you can see that, that one starts nearly in the right place. Now, here's where the big difference is. Normally, we lie the pencil along the side of our nose, and then we put a dot here, and that's where we would end the brow. And then the arch, it should be along the outer edge of the iris. So that's what I'm doing there. So that's pretty right where the arch is supposed to be. If you're somebody that needs to pluck and you've got a little bit of excess hair up here, please, you can pluck from above because you're not creating shape. You're just taking away those sort of stray hairs. And we all know there's a lot of stray hairs going on. If you have a lot of wiry hairs, my suggestion is, and what I get my ladies to do, brush your brows down. So I'm going to show you that quickly. So you brush your brows down, and then with little nail scissors, you can clip along. There's also some fantastic little kits out there that you can do, the eyebrow kits that have little kind of trimmers and things like that. So if you want to invest in that, by all means. But if you don't want to do that, and you just want to get rid of a few strays, use your nail scissors or use little teeny scissors. You don't want to use those big ones, not the big kitchen ones. They're too big. So you've done that. Now, your eyebrows and your face don't age the same on each side. So on my other side, you will see this eyebrow here is quite a bit different where it should be. It should be here. Now, the reason why they shouldn't be too far apart is when you have them too far apart, you get that sort of shocked expression, like you're like, oh, that kind of look. So you don't want that. And the same thing. So I'm going to do that. And that's where they should go, but I'm going to show you where they really should go because they should not come down that way. So let's start off. There's lots of products that you can use. Firstly, if you don't want to invest in anything, you can use an eyeshadow. And eyeshadows are perfectly fine as long as you've got the right kind of color. So I've got an eyeshadow palette, which, because of makeup artists, we've got lots of palettes. But you will probably have an eyeshadow. So if you're blonde, I would be using something like this. If you were brunette, something like that. If you had darker brows, something like that. I would mix the grays if you had a grayish brow going on. So you've probably got something. Now, a big thing with blonde, make sure that the color is not too warm. You want to have almost like a greenish kind of brown, because greenish color, blondie kind of color, because if they're too warm, you can get kind of orange looking brows, and that doesn't look very nice. Okay, so you can use that and use a little brush, like you could use your little eyeliner brush. And my technique would be to brush them down and then fill them in with your eyeshadow like that and following it along. So that's one way you can do it. So let me show you the technique. I'm going to use a pencil because a lot of ladies love to use pencils. I don't do a pencil. So I am reaching for, and where did I put it? Here it is. My Blink one. I've got this Blink one, and it's got pencil on one end and a little brush on the other end. Sorry, pencil and a little brush. Ooh, wasn't pretty. So what I do is I brush my brow down. I'm leaving the white marks there just for the time being so that you can see where I'm going with this. Now, the reason why I brush my brows down is if you fill in from underneath, as you get older, it makes your eyes look like they're more drooping and makes them look smaller. Now, none of us want that. We all want our eyes to look lifted. So this technique that I'm showing you will make your eyes look more lifted and give you a really nice shape. You don't want to go too dark on your brows because remember, your skin has lost pigment as we get older. So your brows, you shouldn't make them too dark, too fierce, because it can look too aggressive. So keep them slightly on the softer side. So I'm taking my Blink pencil, starting where my white line is on that side, and I'm etching along the top. Now, I'm going to follow it all the way down to there. That is where, when we were younger, that's where we would have put it, okay? I'm going to brush them back up and then fill in from underneath. Now, I am filling in a little, the gaps from underneath, but I'm not filling in the major part of the brow. So that is how I'm doing that. Now, I think this is going down too far, and I think it brings my eye down. And I think it also looks a little bit too aggressive as well. Now, I'm going to do the other side, and with the other side, I'm going to use my brow balm. So you've got pencils, you've got brow balms, you've got brow mascara. There are so many different things, but I will go through all of the different things that you can use and how you would use them. So if you're somebody that really wants simplicity, I would reach for a pencil. If you've got more things to fill in, now this is why I'm reaching for my brow balm, is because I had a lot of white or silvery colored brows and they were very wiry. So in my infinite wisdom, I thought, oh, if I pluck those out, brown ones will grow back. Well, guess what? Brown ones don't grow back. They leave gaps. So on this brow especially, I've got a whole bunch of gaps in my brows. So with my spoolie end of my double-ended brush, I'm brushing my eyebrows down. I'm dipping into a little bit of brow balm. Lots of companies do brow balms as well, so check those out if that's something you want. They have a little bit more of a fill-in than a pencil would, and they come in colors as well, so you can choose your color. So I'm using a brunette, and again, etching along the top. And I'm not going quite as far as where that line is. I'm going to stop just slightly above there, and you'll see what I mean, how that lifts the eye. So by doing it along the top, you see you can lift the eye up. Now I'm going to fill in a little bit here as well because I don't want that shocked and startled look. And you could use an old eyeliner brush. If you wanted to use an eyeliner brush, you can use that. That's absolutely fine. And for the spoolie end, you can use an old toothbrush. So there's lots of things you can use. You don't have to go out and purchase something just for the sake of it and for using it. But if you have that, then great. So you can see here, I haven't gone down this far. I've stopped it probably, I would say about 1/4 of an inch above. And you can see how that has, I think that's lifted that side up. This side, I think, is just a little bit too coming down, and I particularly don't like it. I love the way this one kind of makes my eye go up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a little bit of concealer. Oops, I'm making a lot of noise here. So I'm going to grab a little bit of concealer. And I'm just going to get rid of, this pencil here. So I'm going to just move it, and then I'll bring it to the bit where I want it. Now, you can see instantly that whole bit of my eye looks up. So I can do a little bit of smokiness in that. So let's get rid of these white marks. We don't need those anymore. Now, if you're someone that has colored hair like myself, so I've got red hair, this is not my natural color, as we all know, and you don't want, obviously you're not going to put a red, red brows, although you can get sometimes your hairdresser to do a little bit of dyeing on your brows if you want, but this is so much easier because you lose your brows fall out all the time. So you're going to have this kind of mottled effect, which is not a great idea. I'm using a brown mascara. Brown mascaras, I love these. These are great for people who have got a lot of white gray going on in their brows. So I'm just scraping that off. I'm using a strawberry blonde. I'm using my one, but there's lots of brown. I'll show you some of the other ones in just a sec. So I'm going to take the strawberry blonde and I'm just going to go in there and over top of the pencil and bring that down a little bit. I'm going to just give that a little bit of a better shape and a little bit of great color. And it's picking up that reddiness in my hair. If I was going to go, if my hair was freshly red, I probably would have used an auburn rather than a strawberry blonde. So then again, the same thing here where I'm just going to go in there a little bit, not too crazy. And that just gives it a little bit more color there. Yeah. Now, if you're somebody who has no brows or they've either come out because for patchiness or whatever, you've maybe overplucked them and they've not grown back and you need to really fill them in, let me show you these other things that you can use as well. These are these felt tip pen things, which I think are fantastic. These ones are by Stila and they're like little felt tip pens. And what you can do with those is great. You can just fill them in. And all of these things are water resistant, which is great. So you're filling that in, all those little kind of gaps that you have. And you're filling that in. And they come in, these are the 3 shades that I've got here. So you've got different shades for different eyebrow colors. And they work really, really well. The other brown mascaras I want to show you are one here by Benefit. I love this Benefit one. This is Gimme Brow. This has got little fibers in it. So if you've got really a tiny bit of brow, but they're very, very sparse, you can fill these in with using this brown mascara and the fibers adhere to the little bit of hair and make your eyebrows look fuller. I also have a Bobbi Brown one here, which is a gray color. So if you've got that kind of beautiful salt and pepper hair and you don't want to go blonde or brunette because brunette can be too warm, there are these great brow colors as well. So there's so much out there to choose from. Now, if you want to just keep your brows in place, say you're just thinking that they're just wiry and you want to keep them in place, rather than having to go for lots of different things, what you can do is you can get a brow mascara, and I have one here. Where did I put it? This is an Estee Lauder brow mascara. It's a clear mascara that you can just comb through your brows. Great. If you don't want to invest in something like that, you can use a bit of hairspray on the end of your spoolie brush. So I'm going to spray that away from here, so like that. And then just brush those wiry ones into place and get them to stay put. Great. If you don't have hairspray at home and you want to keep them in place, if you've got a bar of soap, you can dampen the brush or an old toothbrush, rub it along and then put it through your brows, and that keeps your brows in place as well. So there's lots of different things you can do. There's some great little brow kits as well. This one here is by Shavata, which is really lovely. And this one here is a Benefit one. Benefit do some really great brow products. I mean, they've got a really great selection. I'm trying to not to let that tip over. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope you've got some great tips from it and you're going to be able to do your brows. If you have any questions, you can always email me, askariane1@gmail.com. And until the next time, see you soon. Bye-bye.